Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Maxi here, and I am back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy. So last time we have basically managed to traverse through probably is one of my least favorite worlds in the game, which appears to be Aeroplane. And today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be moving on to the 7th world in this game, known as the Iceberg. And as far as we can definitely tell from the start though, is that ever since in World 5, we're going back onto 12 set of levels. So either way though, we're sure able to actually expect to able to do this kinds of stuff no problem. So either way though, and here's the main emphasis on this entire world, is that obviously this is all ice themed world. And the main emphasis on this particular world is that, as you can see, we now need to rely on these little particular fireballs. And what these fireballs can able to do for you is that this allows them to able to melt down these ice cubes, which can be pretty noticeable in some stages like 7-1 for example. And basically you're gonna have to let them walk across these little ice cubes, because that way you would be able to actually go and progress to the actual main emphasis on certain levels. So yeah, that would be pretty noticeable though, and oh jeez, I almost died right there due to that fireball over there, but thankfully we managed to avoid that, so let's just go ahead and, well, toss the key over towards that specific spot, and be very careful not to get burned by that, you know what I mean, the fireball and everything, so thankfully we did manage to pass it. So either way though, everything else goes all well together for the most part. Although, eventually at this point is the fact that the game starts to get ridiculously difficult. Mainly due to the fact that, well, as far as you guys can clearly tell from the start though, is that obviously the Iceberg world is going to be filled to the brim with ice physics involved. So, yeah, be prepared for a lot of ice physics involved for this place. So, anyways, here we go on to stage 7-2, where basically that, well, we do need to activate that specific switch somewhere, but as you can see, the switch lever is actually onto the far right. And basically, every time you activate it, then it allows you to able to actually activate those particular 2 elevator platforms, as you can see on screen. So, not much else to say about this level for the most part, apart from the fact that it gets a lot of difficultiness involved, mainly due to the forms of, oh, that's not fair. That basically, that key just managed to fell through, not only for those little, floaty platforms, but also, get this, is that they just managed to clip through that particular elevator platform, and I was like, well, that's not fair. I could just wish if they were just trying to able to stay put and whatsoever. I digress. So anyway, let's just go ahead and try this again, and hopefully a successful attempt, and hopefully without any trial and error, and in fact I almost ran out of time right there. So hopefully we'll able to do that no problem. So even then though, just gonna have to keep jumping for those little floaty platforms, as you can see there. So because of that, if you stand on these platforms for way too long, basically it takes you straight to the water, so just keep that in mind. Alright, stage 7-3, and the main emphasis on this level is that, as you can see, there is no door to find. However though, here's the catch, that we definitely need to find a really well hidden door spot. So I think it was actually well hidden somewhere right next to where Pauline's hat was. And basically, all you have to do is just basically get out to grab the key, and be very careful not to fall into the spikes down below. And as soon as you're able to find that correct spot, such as for this spot right here, then you will finish the level. So even then though, I honestly think this level's not that complicated though. So either way though, yeah, let's move on to the next Donkey Kong level, and it appears to be we're gonna have to utilize those elevator platforms once again. So in this case, and to top it all off though, is the fact that we need to be very careful not to get crushed by those little crushers. So, especially the ones in the forms of that one over there, but thankfully, assuming if we're able to try to stand on one of these, then sure enough we're able to end off the level like so. So even then though, no deaths on it so far, which I was quite surprised about, because whenever first time I actually got to this place, during the course of my original cartridge version of the game, I seem to die a lot due to the forms of complex puzzle elements to it, as well as the forms of, what else, ice physics involved. So, speaking of ice physics, is the fact that we now gonna have to introduce into ourselves these little icicles coming from above. And basically, those icicles will help you out, specifically in the 10th stage, specifically. Although, is there one from the forms of 7-5, for instance? Yeah, I think that was the only level I was thinking of. So yeah, you have to utilize those little icicles as platforms, as you can see, in order to progress. So, but of course you do need to be very careful though, because if you dare touch these, the icicles from that sharpest bit, basically you die. So yeah, you have to watch out for that. So, anyway though, so let's go ahead and just keep on moving. And a few things we want to explain about this for this point today is the fact that today's day is of course the 17th of May today, in this case in 2021, and looks like we're almost nearly at the end of May already, even though sure enough we actually barely got started with that, you know, the halfway point in terms of May already. So because of that though, looks like we already got about likely or so 15 days left until we approach onto June. So that way we can able to do what else? More Let's Plays, and you name the rest. So either way though, and of course I've got another extra life, but seems to be more specifically, we've already maxed out our extra lives, so... Oh yeah, I remember this level. So basically, all we have to do in this level is the fact that we need to let those fireballs manage to melt out the, well, these ice blocks in particular. And how do you do it? Well, we do need to able to actually let these switches will come in. And basically, every time you're able to actually just, well, deactivate the bridge and then activate the bridge simultaneously, then you would be able to actually let these fireball enemies decide to drop down for those ice blocks. And every time you do so, then you would able to progress, along with the elevator keeps changing. So, yeah, this level's not too hard though, honestly, even though some people might find this a bit tricky, especially noticeable where certain puzzles comes in. And I think the fireball is actually approaching onto the left, so let's place that bridge over there, so that way it allows the actual... Oh jeez, okay, that's fine. Because, thankfully, if you do manage to get hit by certain enemies, like fireballs for instance, basically, rather than just able to die instantly while you're carrying a key, so you just get knocked back, and then also to top it off, you'll lose the ability to carry the key, so... That's a good thing to know. And, yeah, for the most part, all you have to do is just basically just melt the ice blocks, and when you've done that already, then you can hop onto the 2 bridges, and thankfully, with that particular little thing on the top there, for that elevator spot, basically you can able to land on that too, so that's something's worth that in mind. So, yeah, honestly, I don't find that world to be quite annoying or difficult, although sure, it's a bit difficult at times, but when you get used to with the actual puzzles and everything, then you would deal with it no problem. So either way though, so let's move on to stage 7-7, where, oh yeah, I remember this level as well. Basically you have to be very fast on this level though, because, well, as you can tell, we do need able to build up the actual bridge, so that way it allows you to able to entering that particular door from above. And, well, here's the thing though, we do need to be fast on this though, although thankfully, if you keep on doing those little, construction parts together, basically the timer will not run out for almost instant. So either way though, you just have to be fast, and boom, I think that's gonna be problem solved there. So even then though, I really can't be bothered able to actually grab those Pauline's items honestly, because obviously that these are entirely optional, especially noticeable if you really want to go for the bonus game. Well, more power to you, especially noticeable that, well, again, if you maxed out these lives, then you would able to do it no problem, so, oh jeez. Okay, so, basically, in this second Donkey Kong stage, in Iceberg, that we have to deal with the conveyor belts, as well as those particular sinking platforms, as you can see there. And, for the most part, it's not too hard, though, especially noticeable if you're trying to utilize the backflip, like I just did for about few seconds notice, and once you've done that, then you'll be good to go for the sake of the stage. It looks like so far, not too many deaths on it so far for Iceberg. Although keep that in mind is that some of these levels might be pretty tricky, especially noticeable towards the end, so... Yeah, anyway, so let's just go ahead and watch Mario just manage to jump from platform to platform, or sinking platforms to the other. So, at least we're able to actually just to see what's usually happened right there. Alright, so now we move on to the final 4 levels of the Iceberg. So, in this case, stage 7-9. And I believe in this level we got to deal with the forms of, well, we do need to able to actually go down there. So, while avoiding those walrus, as you can see on screen. Although, keep in mind, if you dare touch those walrus, then basically you will die instantly. So, be very careful. So yeah, basically you just have to like, let these icicles manage to drop down. Oh no! I wasn't paying attention to that! Oh well, no big deal. At least we got 98 extra lives though, so we got plenty of lives. So, to keep us survive for not getting a single game over for the sake of this playthrough. So yeah, you get the idea. So anyway, let's hop onto this icicle thing again. And, well, we just got to wait until we drop down. Oh jeez, that was close. And especially noticeable, I almost gonna get screwed up by that specific, oh jeez, for that walrus right there. Yeah, that was almost like a really close call. So anyway, we'll, have to let those icicles go in and hop onto the walrus, so just in case you weren't able to go up there quicker. And every once in a while, just get the ladder construction part and just try to climb up and activate the switch, and that should be good to go for not only in terms of trying to dodge those another walrus, as you can see there, but also you weren't able to get the key in the process. So anyways, let's go ahead and just deal with these walrus by utilizing tossing the key, because seriously, it reminds me of so much of Kingdom Hearts all of a sudden. So but you know, you get the idea. So anyways, let's go all the way back up and hop onto this locked door, and, well, we complete the stage. And I think we're actually going to be playing a bonus game every once in a while, so I guess that makes it obvious. So, and I didn't get any reward off that, so that's kind of a bummer. But that's fine, because either way, we are moving on to stage 710. Oh jeez, I remember this stage. You have to be super precise on this stage though, especially noticeable when we get to the forms of the last section. Now I do understand why most people seem to have trouble with this stage, but honestly, it did took me one attempt though, in not only in my original cartridge version of the game, which, surprisingly enough, because I almost attempted able to get myself screwed over thanks to the forms of that, you know, the strict timing window with that specific jump and what have you, for able to try to jump onto these icicle platforms. But every once in a while though, we would be able to actually just well, trying to able to time ourselves carefully. So either way though, let's just go ahead and I missed my jump right there, but that's fine, because those icicles will respawn after when they landed onto the forms of that specific platform and everything else like this. So either way though, it's not too bad honestly. So it's just all about timing that you have to work with. So I would like to able to actually get the rest of those Pauline's items there, but I might not risk it. So anyway, so let's move on to stage 711, where once again we're gonna have to figure out which one of those correct hidden doors is actually well hidden. So either way though, time to solve the actual puzzles. So either way though, that's the feel like I always enjoyed those kinds of games. Although mind you though, there's actually the forms of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong mini Mario series and all that stuff though, like starting from Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, and I found that game to be alright. But as far as the March of the Minis March again, as far as I'm concerned on the DSiWare, I'm not too thrilled about it honestly, because it's basically just 2.5, except the fact that with different level layouts, in addition with those key levels, as far as they're able to introduce into it. So you know what I mean. Alright, so basically we just have to be very careful not to able to get screwed up by that fireball, and basically just carry the key. And I think if I were you, I'm also able to wait until when that fireball decides to come near to me, and jump over him in the process. And now it's time to solve this particular construction part. Let's place the bridge here, and I think that should be high enough. And we'll place the spring on here, and every once in a while that block right there, just right next to the spring. And, well, that pretty much solves it. Although, alternatively, you can also use the actual ladder, but I actually did this in an easy way imaginable. Like, literally, I did manage to done this easier, so Anyways, let's move on to the final stage of the Iceberg world, and that's what appears to be the Donkey Kong boss fight. And just like before, we need to use the barrels to able to hit Donkey Kong 3 times, and that's how you have to do for the sake of this boss fight. So, but keep that in mind though, is that this is why the boss fights get significantly harder, because as you can tell, we need to deal with the forms of ice physics and all that stuff. But I found it's pretty simple and self-explanatory, but that's just probably just me. So anyways, let's go ahead. Oh, dang it, I wasn't looking! Now we're down to 97 extra lives, but hopefully we'll get some more extra lives. Well, to be more specifically, 2 extra lives after we're done with the world. So either way though, we can expect this much, so... Oh, there's another thing that kind of irritates me for the sake of this boss fight, is that, I swear, every time when I was trying to able to actually grab the barrel, and waiting for that icicle platform to able to actually get it stand, and sometimes though, that I seem to obviously clip through them, which it tends to bother me that much though, but as long as you would be very careful, then you would deal with it no problem, so yeah, that's probably how it goes. And that pretty much concludes the Iceberg world. Oh no, not that difficult world. Well, for at one hand, it will get pretty difficult later on, but I honestly found that pretty easy and self-explanatory. Alright, so now we're gonna be seeing this cinematic right there, where Donkey Kong once again just managed to carry Pauline into another world. And this means that we're no longer gonna have to worry about the ice physics anymore. So because of that, we are moving on to, well, the next world. After we're able to actually see a whole bunch of M's, stands for Mario, basically. And the next world we're going to be hop into is Rocky Valley. And oh boy, we actually had a lot of levels to go through. So in this case, we're going to have the endings off at this point right here. So join me next time on Let's Play Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy. Is that we're going to be hit on to the longest world in the entire game, Rocky Valley. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.